Do you not see how this works? Not quite get that thing?
Well, no, consequences are not something I think about. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 589 of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Terry Mixon. Joining me, Paul E. Cooley.
What is up?
Can you do that over again? Because that was awful.
What
was just
is
terrible.
up?
Oh, you are so sad, my friend.
Sad and pathetic, I know. It's my lot in life. What's up with you, man? How you doing?
It's a sad day. It's been a sad couple of days.
Why is it a sad day?
Because one of our cats has reached end of life.
Yeah, that's a sad day. I am very, very sorry to hear it.
We got the call right before came up to record the show. So it's very sad for me personally, but it's something I've seen coming for some time, and we knew that the end was nigh. It's Sheba, and she has gone into renal failure, and we'll take her in tomorrow to go ahead and say goodbye. So it makes me sad.
I'm sorry, Terry. I'm sorry.
She's lost a lot of weight. She's unsteady on her feet. It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Being a pet owner has a lot of pluses, and owning multiple pets over a long period of time has a lot of minuses. And the minuses are almost all the same, which is, do you suddenly have to say goodbye to your friend when you're not ready to? So, yeah, it's rough. I am very sorry to hear it.
At least it's not a sudden thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But you gave her a good life, gave her a good home, and you were a good friend.
She's had roughly 15 years. So she's had a good life.
Good innings, man. They're good innings. You okay?
It's going to be a rough couple of days. Yeah. But I'll be all right.
Okay. So you're Mr. Debbie Downer on this show today.
Oh, I think I can go ahead and be Mr. Debbie Downer. We'll see. But otherwise, it's been a decent writing month. Over 50,000 words written this month between two books. So
wow. I'm
about a quarter of the way done with the Empire book. So I'm happy with that. I didn't write yesterday or today. Just haven't felt it.
Yeah, I get you. I understand that. 2021 can just pretty much already kiss my ass, and we're only a month in.
We've got a number of cats that are seniors, so the next couple of years is not going to be very fun for me.
Yeah, I know how that's going to go with real people plus pets. That's a pretty ugly situation all the way around.
But, because we're opposites, that must mean that you are doing fine, because that's how this works.
There's actually some truth to that.
There kind of is some truth to this. Every time I'm doing great, you're like, oh, fuck you. Ah!
Oh, man. Then 2021 is going to suck for you.
Oh, don't you cuss me like that.
I'm just saying, I am determined to have a good 6 months here. Don't fuck with me.
Okay.
So I have something in the processing pipeline to do with Derelict, and I don't want to make all the details public yet.
All right.
But essentially,
like good news.
It is good news. It will put some money in my pocket. Some folks already know about it. As soon as I have dates and all that kind of bullshit, I'll probably make a public announcement. But it will put some money in my pocket and get some more content out there for folks. And I also sold a book.
Good deal.
So I'll be writing for the man again, so to speak. But it'll be a good thing, I hope. But the most important part is that this whole thing is going to allow me to keep certain portions of IP that I desperately want to write about. So I'll make other details available. Basically, what you need to know is Paul's happy.
As long as Paul is happy, Terry is happy.
Paul is happier than he's been in a while, but because we're finally getting some movement on some stuff, so things are going forward. I may have to alter my timelines on some things a little bit, but there's this bank account thing that's kind of like hey,
We'll appreciate your efforts.
yeah, we'd like some more of that green stuff in here, please. Can you bring some of that? Yeah, okay, fine. We'll do what we need to do to make that happen. So that's where that bullshit is, but it means that I'll be back on the writing horse because I've got money in front of me, which will be excellent. But
So-
as
Balancing everything out that you're going to do there, what do you think you're going to be? Do you think you'll be able to produce a large number of words with all the other things on your plate?
what other things on my plate?
I guess I assume that the robot is still lurking there somewhere, isn't it?
I'm going to pretend like it's not. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I can't really pretend on anything. I have to go with what's in front of me and what I can make money on now, not what I can waste time on that won't make money.
All right, then. But you've got some other project that's paying your bills. This is
Yeah,
a good
I have another project. In fact, I need to build them very soon. That'll put some more money in the bank account. But the big thing is the writing, the audiobooks, all of that crap is going to help things going. And the reason why my tagline says climax is we're almost done. We're almost done with
I
training.
totally misinterpreted that. I figured you weren't wearing pants.
Okay, you see me walk in and out of here several times.
Let's not bring facts into to try to mess with this.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that we're in the same, universe of reality here.
This Zoom call could go wrong, with
This is not a Zoom call, number one.
Go wrong real bad.
See what I have to put up with, folks. If you see me drinking a lot of water, excuse me, pardon me, but my voice is kind of trashed. I think new inhaler's not doing it any favors right now. So I'll have to drink a lot of water.
I still have the question of what kind of word production do you think you're gonna manage? I'm curious what you've got targeted for 2021, my friend.
Well, as soon as I get shipyards finished, which we're, oh my God, so close. I can taste the readers' tears. I can taste their tears, man. Yum.
You're talking books. I'm saying like in February. What kind of word count are you hoping to tag in February?
I am
general per month. Say for the year.
Yeah.
You would hope to write X number of words. I'm just trying to, just get a ballpark of what you think and you can aim at. That's what I'm getting at.
I would love to get Extinction done this year.
Again, we're talking titles. I want words, my friend.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Extinction, I have probably about 100,000 words to write on.
Okay.
The book I just sold, it's probably going to be 70 to 80. So this needs to be a 200,000 word year, which is doable.
Aiming for 660,000 words this year is probably something that's going to get a bird out of you, isn't it?
You're fucking crazy.
I may not make it, but I'm aiming.
That's your goal is 660,000?
My goal is to write 6 novels of roughly 110,000 words.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to produce a novel every month. I'm trying to produce a novel in 60 days.
That seems doable.
It's going to be more than I've accomplished in the past. But even if I miss it and only get 5 novels, I'll still be happy with that. But I'm setting my goals to be a little higher so that I can try to do more. And because I changed my process, it's actually the writing part is working out pretty well for me. I did 50,000 words this month. I really should have done 60,000, but it's not been, the greatest month. So yeah. I'll take it. We'll see. If I get 4 to 5 novels in the year at that range, I'll be totally happy with it. But I'll set my goal a little higher and strive to just see what I can do.
I have 6 other books in various forms of production.
The abandoned projects that must come to life. Like
they're abandoned projects. They're not really abandoned. They're just kind of like, okay, this isn't going well. We're going to put this away and come back to it when we feel like it.
That is the nature of abandoned projects.
Yeah, but abandoned makes it sound like you just kind of threw them in the trash heap and you're never coming back to them. I think more like shelved is the right
okay,
word.
Shelved projects. I would buy that as a more accurate definition than shelved projects.
And 2 of them would probably sell big time.
And yet you're not writing on them? What is
I'm
wrong
not
with
writing on them? That's the same old issue with Recycle, for instance. What kind of book does it want to be? Does it want to be a simple, less scientific Monster Mash, or does it want to be a more scientific Monster Mash?
It wants to be the less scientific Monster Mash. That's what it wants.
If it's the less scientific Monster Mash, then I can throw away several things and probably make it an 80 or 90,000 word book. So there's that one, and then there's Signal Decay. If I go back and I throw away the shit that I don't like and just go with it, I think I'll be. We talked about that last week, I think, in the pre-show. So that's another property that I want to get done. But I mean, once I get Extinction off my plate, then I can put that into the, hey, my production crew, time for you guys to go through all 5 books for continuity checks for this, that, and the other, and everything else, and leave that with them for 4 or 5 months without saying a goddamn word while I work on all this other shit. And Extinction's already 25K, but it's 4 different plot lines that I have to write kind of separately and then somehow merge them all together because I'm Paulie Cooley and I'm a fucking idiot. Because my brain hates me. So I already have a head start is what I'm trying to say on quite a few titles. I just have to go get after them. I mean, the first Dr. G stuff, I think I probably have 18,000 words on the first projected Dr. G novel. That's actually a pretty good start.
It kind of is.
So I think that kind of opens up a lot of opportunities. Whether I'm going to be like you, I have no idea. Probably not, because probably as everything always does, something will kind of interrupt and throw a huge spanner into everything.
And you have a day job. I don't have that.
Yeah, right now I have a day job. Pretty soon that will run out, but maybe not, because
you'll be hustling for another day job.
Well, there's feature creep. There's this application is doing everything the other application did, but there's all these things they wanted the other application to do. So there's going to be a lot more custom work after this, I imagine. If everybody stays in business, that is, which is always a question. Who knows?
Years that is a question.
I mean, every day it's a question for some folks. So anyway, there's a lot of crazy going on, but the only thing that's constant in my life income wise is the writing. And that means that I need to write more because I'm not really doing so well financially. Patreon's going up though, slowly but surely. I don't know how. I don't know why. I do. It's this thing called Derelict Trident podcast on YouTube. That's why.
Well, my Patreon has been going up slowly too over the years since I put it out there. It's serving a couple of purposes, and it's not live on money, but it's not insignificant.
No, I mean, the Patreon pays for shadowpublications.com, pays for expenses related to the podcast, to YouTube, to all the production, helps with hardware, etc.
Talking about your personal Patreon.
I am.
Okay.
I am. And then the DRS one pays for DRS and puts a little money in my pocket for video editing, audio editing, etc. So it's not a bad deal. The bottom line is that, the Patreon's pretty much the only income I can get every month. So I know that I'm going to make at least this much this month.
I'm looking at my hands and going, you can see how, let me get over here.
Oh
how
my
Romeo
God.
gets me because I have to pick him up so that I can medicate him. I get a few cuts here and there.
No, really?
I just noticed that. Yeah, just a few.
Crap. Yeah, just a little. Kitty's trying to kill you.
Kitty does not like being held.
I
He's
had one
a
of those.
he's a partly socialized feral in the house. So there are consequences for picking up Claw Kitty.
Would that be a socialized feral or a
Something like
feral? Yeah.
he'll climb up on me and want petting for like 2 minutes, and then he's done.
And then when he's
Better
done,
let him be done.
one of those. Gotcha. Really? It's Saturday and you guys have to come out here and do you hear that?
I gotta blow my weed eater down the road.
I'm guessing you do hear that then.
I can't hear it. No,
Oh, you can't?
I cannot.
It's louder than shit. Good thing the mic's pointed this way. So,
No, it's not making it into the recording at all. I can't hear it.
all right, good to go. So basically what we've discerned is we both have goals and shit to do this year, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we've got things to accomplish.
Damn, hate it when that happens. Things to accomplish. Well, now that we've slaughtered that bullshit, what the hell are we going to talk about today?
I think slaughtering is the right word because I want to talk about how you kill off a beloved character.
Ooh, my specialty.
Your specialty is something I avoid at all costs. But I figure that, this show isn't just about me talking about what I want to talk about. Let's talk about what Paul wants to talk about.
What are you talking about? This was not my topic. I don't want to talk about killing my favorite characters.
Yes, you do.
No,
You
I
revel in
don't.
it. You revel in it.
I do not revel in it. Yeah, I kind of do sometimes.
You kind of do.
There is nothing wrong with bringing a main character's story to an end before other folks if it serves the story.
How do you know that it serves the story, though?
When it makes you laugh and go, they're going to hate this.
Oh, that's how it's going to be, huh? I'm just writing along. Suddenly I go, oh, the readers would really hate this. Wah, 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 wah.
Like I said, I can almost taste their tears.
Buy a bottle of writer's tears.
Right, a bottle. No, I need a bottle of writer's tears and another bottle of reader's tears. I need to put those both together. And
Tears, an actual thing?
I don't know, but there needs to be. So basically what you do is you do a time lapse of a writer and each one of them.
Romeo in the background with his cone.
His cone of shame. So what you do is you have the writer's tears full with the reader's tears empty. And then as we go, levels change.
I always anticipated that the writer's tears was not the tears of the writer. It's the tears they inflict on people.
Serve a purpose of the story. Maybe that is where that character's journey ends because of what they were trying to do, or could be a mistake they made, an epic mistake that you need to inform the other characters of so that they do not go down that same road. And you need to have it mean something, and it won't mean something if it's a freaking red shirt. Or it may be that this is what they have to do in order to save the other folks.
Do you ever go into stories with disposable characters on hand? Not
Hell
red shirts,
yeah.
your main characters with the idea of this person isn't going to make it. I'm starting the story now. This person will not make it.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Heartless bastard.
Because I knew that's where the story needed to go for it to have the impact that I wanted. And I still get some hate mail every now and then for that particular story.
It makes you smile every time, doesn't it?
I'm talking about Closet Treats. And yes, it does, because it means that I did a good job with those characters. And there are two of them in there that I whack, because that means the character was real. They liked the character. And they were sorry when the character was gone. And I had to do something similar in Derelict, and I've gotten some hate mail from that. But then when they see what happens in shipyards, I think that will change. The hate mail will change. But yeah, there are characters that you know from the very get-go that aren't going to make it because it's not their story, or they're not the ones who continue the story after the book. Their story ends. And sometimes the story has to end with them for obvious reasons. And you don't need to shy away from it. You can do things at the onset, like describe the fact that this character's got some kind of terminal disease. You can inform the reader from the get-go, this person is probably not going to make it through this book. And you can warn them that way. If you want to do it and set up some kind of conceit where they've got they've essentially got a life clock ticking. And that's an easy way to let them know from the very beginning, I'm going to hate you by the end of this book. But with action, suspense, thriller, horror, science fiction, blah, 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 yada, yada, you have to make these people fall in love with these characters. And when you're doing suspense and horror and etc., you have to make people fall in love with these characters and care about the characters, or else what's going on doesn't fucking matter. But characters die. Main characters die. It is a hideous thing for a writer to do, and guess what? It's fucking reality. It's the way it is. Some characters aren't going to make it. If everybody makes it, then who was at risk? No one. Nothing. There were no stakes. And
I will point out that there are stakes other than death.
Well, I'm talking about, remember the list of genres I just gave out. Okay. And yes, I'm being broad stroked in general, but I'm just saying, if you're writing that kind of book, it can't be G.I. Joe. It's just not going to work. Everybody can't go have a nice
A-team, automatic weapons fire, blowing up cars. Everybody walks away.
Yeah, my people walk away, but usually missing limbs are part of their brains.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Well, I mean, it's all about there are stakes and there are repercussions, and journeys don't always end well. And I like to write books that have journeys that are significant life changers for the characters.
I am not condemning that type of storytelling.
And I'm not condemning the other type of storytelling either.
So don't think that I think less of you because
I don't think that. No, I don't think that. I know. I don't think you think less of me. I know you think less of me.
What? I know. I actually don't. I totally don't.
I know you don't. It's just it's a different kind of story, and that's kind of why I try and work really hard on getting people to love those characters. Sometimes I don't know if that character is going to make it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with the red shirt.
Roulette wheel of death. Which character will die?
Well, in my defense, I also have to put it out there that there's the shadowpublications.com graveyard, which still has like 30 more names of people I have to kill because of or put in a book, right? So that's why there's like all these Anglo names in all of my books. I'm trying to clear out the fucking graveyard, and almost everybody who's there is Western. So there's there are folks that I still owe portions of in the books, and I still have to figure out interesting ways to kill them or use them in a story. I did that with a couple of folks in Derelict. There were red shirts I had to get rid of. I did not spend any real character development time with them because they were red shirts. Kind of needed them, right? I needed those things to happen for the stories. The characters I spend more time with are the ones I want you to really care about. So when I put them in the precarious situations that the other people died in, you now have an idea of what the stakes are that these characters are facing. And because of that, you actually give a shit. Oh, I thought you were going to ask your question. There we go.
While I haven't killed off a primary character, I've killed off a secondary character that I loved because it suited the story.
Yeah. There's really no difference in that. I don't think anyway. You just have to make it make sense. You have to have it make sense and serve the story. It has to serve the mood. It has to serve the situation, and it has to serve the reader and the writer. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just basically whacking somebody for no reason.
Talking about consequences of stories, without actually killing somebody that you care about. One of the major story arcs that I had in Empire ended up with the death of Kelsey's brother.
Mhm.
She killed him. She chose not to act and allow him to die by his own actions.
Right.
And then I wrote a novella for inclusion in something else where I had the consequences of that for her. It wasn't pretty. It's
No.
not something she should be proud of, but somebody tried to assassinate her and she went all murder hobo on him.
And now she has to live with that for the rest of her life.
And she's got to live with the consequences of that.
And see, that's
of allowing her brother to die and having some blame with that, and the consequences of being less than the person she wanted to be, and basically exterminating the force that came to kill her.
Right. Whereas you can also have a main character gets killed because another main character didn't make the right call. And then you have to deal with the fallout from that. And sometimes it's just time for that character to leave the stage for whatever reason. Maybe there's you need a plot point to make and they're the perfect freaking target for it. It may just be that it makes sense for them to leave the stage so that you can set something else up. Depends on what you're writing. And depends on how much of that baggage you want those other characters to carry around. But I have point of view characters die all the time.
Now, I say that I haven't killed off any primary characters. That's not actually true now that I think about it. In the Humanity Unlimited stuff, the father, the main character's father, was a point of view character for some of this. And I chose to have him act in a way that caused himself to die and some of the other bad guys as well.
Yeah, those are villains. Fuck them.
His last moments were spent laughing at their failure.
What a spectacular goat rodeo this was. Boom.
Exactly. Almost exactly. His last physical action was to reach out and trip someone to stop them from stopping the bomb. And then he laughed.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So
but that,
I have killed. I hadn't thought about that, but he was a point of view character, so I have to consider him a major character.
Now, if I want to switch this around, though, if you kill the protagonist and you kind of keep the story going on, we're going to have a little bit of confusion here.
Wait a minute. Are we talking EarthCore again? The original EarthCore, I should say.
Even the original EarthCore. Okay. I don't know that you can say there was a primary character.
It was all the points of view up until that point. At that point in the book, he exterminated everybody else that was a point of view, and the ones that finished off the book were points of view that had not taken place yet.
Well, they had been sprinkled in, but they hadn't been fully explored. They were still templates.
But you get the idea.
Yes.
The major points of view, all of them were exterminated.
But again, the story continues because it's the plot that continues on, not that group of characters.
You'll note that he redid that story so it didn't happen that way.
That's not true. It's not true.
You told me that he fixed that particular issue. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know.
He fixed it, and I'm not going to say anything else. He fixed it and didn't fix it.
He fixed it and didn't fix it.
Yeah.
Did he insert another point of view that was something to survive the end of the book?
Yes.
Okay. And that's a way of fixing it.
2 of them, in fact.
That's perfectly cool. That's right. A perfectly acceptable way. I don't mind that the characters that died. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the fact that they were the only ones carrying the load for the story crawled away from that climax.
But at the same time, it's like what do you do? And that's the character's end, right? Is sitting with the bomb. I'm going to save humanity by setting off the bomb. Story ends. Done. There's no denouement unless you're going to have something from Exterior or some other character who did survive talking about what happened and still not even knowing what happened. You can have that. You can write that story, and that's okay. You can write that ending, and that's okay. The protagonist can die, folks. Absolutely can die. I wouldn't recommend it in a first person story told, but telling a first person story, but the protagonist can die at the end of the tale.
I reject it. I reject that theory entirely just for myself, because that's not you're right.
I mean, there really are no rules when it comes to that, except for be consistent and have a reason for it.
Oh God, what story did I just? My wife was watching a horror movie that involved. I'm going to give away a little bit of the plot here so that you as a horror person may recognize it. The spirits from beyond the grave were because of a ventriloquist who was killed that had all the dummies, and it would bite out their faces and rip out their tongues so they couldn't talk about it.
I believe I actually own that flick.
And it had oh God, which one was one of the new kids? One of those damn cops that he plays cops on TVs, but he was a boy band singer that was the detective in this one. He was in a lot of them.
Oh, where is it?
He's in Blue Bloods. Oh God. But in any case, the evil one, it killed off every single person in that damn thing. The protagonist died.
Yep. That is correct. Where is it? Dead Silence.
I think that may be it. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Dead Silence. That's actually a really good flick. It's suspenseful as hell.
I watched it. I think I may have came in halfway through it. Maybe, maybe a little bit more than halfway through it.
Really creepy shit at the beginning. It's actually pretty well done. It's actually a pretty well done story. But yes, that's exactly right. And how many horror movies end like that? I mean, even The Thing.
The protagonist realized that they had made a terrible mistake and missed something really important in that movie. And they saw the flashback of everything they missed, and then they died. Because the thing they missed killed them.
Exactly. That is good suspense. That is good horror. That is excellent suspense horror. That's what you want. And you want the reader, viewer, whatever, to care about that character and say, you got to solve it. You got to solve it. You got to solve it. They solve it and they die anyway.
It wasn't so much that they solved it. It's just more like they realized where they went wrong just in time to eat the consequences.
They solved the puzzle. They didn't fix the situation. Just because you solve the puzzle and know what's going on doesn't mean you can do fuck all about it. And that's also part of the whole cadre of suspense thriller, is that once you figure out what the hell is going on, can you do anything about it?
It's like 16 Cloverfield Lane.
I still have not seen that flick.
I haven't either. I've only heard about it.
I really need to see it though, because I understand John Goodman is amazing in that movie.
That's what I've heard.
And it seems like it'd be right up my alley, so to speak.
From what I've heard of the story, it seems like while not everybody dies, the consequences are there for somebody making a terrible, terrible mistake.
Yeah. Killing characters has, for me anyway, has a deleterious effect on my brain. And at the same time, I'm cackling while I'm doing it. It makes me feel like a ghoul. But it's always interesting to come up with new and horrible ways to do horrible, awful things to your characters and have them walk away or limp away or be carted away in a body bag.
Yes, but the problem is that you take so much glee in it, we imagine you're licking the side of your microphone as you narrate it.
There's a scene in Closet Treats where we know something really horrible happened, and the protagonist is walking up the stairs. I'm getting shivers just remembering this scene. And it's dark and he can't see. And the antagonist is in the hallway. And he knows they know each other are there. And there's a little bit of talk. And then the antagonist drops something and it rolls. And then the lights come on.
I'm sure it's not a head. It's ahead.
That was a fucking horrific scene for me to write. And I hated myself for doing it because I had spent so much time with that character, and this was going to hurt. It hurt me, it hurt the character, and it was perfect for the book.
That's something that I've never really understood. You've got to be something of a masochist to be a horror writer. You kind of got to be, because just like you just said, it was horrific to write. It was a horrible thing to do. And yet you got something from it. So there's got to be a little bit of masochism inside of you horror writers.
I think that there is a certain level of fuckery sometimes where you're kind of like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to serve the story and live up to my moniker as being a complete and total heartless bastard. But yes, there's every once in a while I sit back and I go, God, they're going to hate me for this. God, they're going to hate me for this. And I do it anyway, because
that's sadism. I'm talking about the effect where you write something that's painful for you to write. But there's also an element of sadism to you horror writers too.
You got to remember, a lot of this is
you're a sadomasochist. Oh my God, I just realized this.
I would say that every journey down those dark corridors is a catharsis. It is clearing out the mental furniture that needs to be thrown away. It's the cracked, unfinished, termite-laden wooden chair that has been there far too long that needs to be tossed because it can no longer support the weight. And sometimes that nightmare fuel gets tossed out there on the page and you feel better because you get rid of it. And some things just kind of have to be processed that way, even though they may be not even related, may just be tangential. But sometimes you just got to let your inner demons go and let them go do what they need to do. In fiction, not talking about real life, in fiction. But I think that's usually why some of us come up with those stories anyway, is it's like, oh, this would be really cool to explore just how devious and dark this goes. Because it grabs some part of you and suddenly you just want to go forward with it. Pons Metal sent me that article about this guy who had a map of the world on his back, I think, with all the places that he'd been. He had it tattooed on his back. And after he died, his family asked the mortician to excise it. They tanned it and they fucking hung it up in their living room.
That's not at all morbid.
That's why the novella, that was after Tattoo. That was, no, it wasn't. That gave me the idea for Canvas. That's right. That gave me the idea for Canvas. And that's a particularly nasty story, which also gave me Tattoo. Ultimately gave me Tattoo because they're kind of related. That idea I got that image in my skull and was just like, I can't get rid of this. This is just too fucking creepy. I got to do something with this. It gave me a story
that I read from, I forget where it was, that there was a dentist's office that was closed down. And when they were destroying the building, they found the walls were filled with teeth.
Yeah.
That's not at all creepy.
No. It's like Edward Loren. I need to ask him one of these days what his fucking deal is with teeth. But Life After Dane is all about teeth. The kid was so abused by his father that he lost all his teeth very, very young. And so he's got a tooth fetish. Ooh. And it's creepy as shit. Mm. Oh, it's just so bad. Oh, that is a book that literally gave me the shivers. Go read that one if you want some good horror.
I will not read that one. Pass.
It's fucked up. The characters are awesome.
Something about you horror writers. You're like, what could I inflict upon my readers now?
Well, I mean, there's no difference from that than look at this monster I've made. Isn't it so cool? What can I do with it? There's no difference between that and look at this new technology I came up with this book. Isn't it cool? Let me do something with it.
Yes, but when I killed off most of humanity, it was off screen.
That's because you're a wuss.
That's because it didn't serve the story.
There you go. And again, it all depends on what the story is doing and where you're taking it. And sometimes
When I get
excessive
further
gore is
along
necessary.
Imperial Marines, I'm going to kill a lot of people, and they're going to die on screen. It's going to be military science fiction.
Yes, as we go back to the
have that paper. Sorry.
As we go back to the battle, there are stakes. People die. It's war.
Well, the thing is with Imperial Marines, anybody that's ever read anything about the Empire of Bones knows that humanity was basically exterminated. That's the end game for Imperial Marines.
Is to get to when that happened.
And the events that happened.
Right.
The end of humanity is going to be the climax of Imperial Marines, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the protagonists die. Not
Correct.
all of them.
Correct.
But I'm going to go places that I've never gone before. I'm going to do horrible, terrible, ugly things.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud.
We'll see how well that works out for me, but I can already see that, not even counting the battles where people are going to die.
Look, this is you. They're going to be using like roses as lasers. They'll be firing flowers at one another. It's going to be like, little gnomes dancing around, jumping around laser beams, because you don't write that dark shit.
So finding one of the characters, inside a maintenance area with his throat slit, that's not bad, right? That's not bad.
It's normal. It's normal everyday stuff. And that's what we're talking about, though. There's something I am going to do in shipyards, which is going to probably be seen as over the top, but I think it needs to happen. And I think I'm going to get a lot of shit for it. And I'll do it anyway. Because I need it to happen.
The thing is, with writing the Imperial Marine story, I can get there in steps. I don't have to start out with the horrible, nasty things.
No, you don't.
And it's not going to happen soon either. There's going to be a lot of things happening before that happens. I'm writing book 14 in the Empire Saga now. I'm not near the end of it. I can easily see Imperial Marines going longer than that before I really get into the meat of the terrible things happening.
Well, right now you're still setting up the plot lines that are going to go through other books. You're still setting up the character, for crying out loud. You're doing Bio of a Space Tyrant. It's going to take us 3 books just to get to where this person's a fully fledged human being.
Book 3 is where they start being a real Marine.
There we go. That's what I'm saying. You're writing Bio of a Space Tyrant, which, folks, if you haven't read that, it's by Piers Anthony. Go check it out.
It's a wonderful 6-book set.
Is it 6 books? I thought it was only 5.
Maybe 5. I thought it was 6, but
I didn't read them all, so I don't know for sure. I
read all of
5. Oh, I'm sure you did.
I did. I read them when I was younger too.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. Those came out early 80s, late 70s.
Book 7.
7 books?
6 books.
6 books. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was only 5. Anyway, regardless.
It doesn't really matter. It's a nice long series that takes a character from beginning to end.
Beginning as a total poor scumbag refugee kid all the way up to being a space tyrant.
Maybe the bad guy.
Yeah, maybe the bad guy.
Depending on your point of view.
Depending on point of view, yes. All the villains are the heroes of their own story. All the heroes are the villains of their own story.
There was a story that was told in the original Star Trek where a colony was cut off from all support, and the governor of that colony had to make a choice. He chose half the population to live and half the population to die so that some of them could live. And because help arrived in the midst of all of that, he was the villain. If help had never arrived, he would
have been the hero. Yeah. Yeah, it always goes back to the whole relativity thing.
And they made it. They made an outright point of saying those exact words. They didn't leave it to your guessing. They made it clear. It was all in the timing. So sometimes timing depends who the villain is and who the hero is.
And sometimes it depends on who wins the war, so to speak.
Who writes the history?
Who writes the history and who actually gets tried for war crimes?
And who invaded California?
And who invaded California? God damn it. You brought this full circle back to avocados.
Avocado! This could be called the Avocado War.
No, we're not calling this episode.
We have a title now, folks.
No, I already have a title. Yeah.
I know, I'm awful.
Now, if I name a character Snuffy, you can guarantee you he's not going to live for the whole book.
Oh, I absolutely think that character should live.
Be the only one?
That character should be the one that recurs back. Did you see Romeo fall off of there?
Yes, I did.
He tried to climb the cat tree behind me, and the cone got in his way, and he fell off. Poor Romeo.
I just imagine this cat sitting on the edge of the bed, just watching you sleep, going, anytime now. Not today, but soon. Oh, poor baby. Oh, poor baby. Oh, man.
Poor Nomeo.
Nomeo. Wherefore art thou, Nomeo?
But what was I saying before Romeo totally distracted me? Snuffy. Snuffy should be an assassin. That should be his nickname, Snuffy, because he kills people.
I started a short story that takes place in space, and this, that, and the other. It has to do with space junk. And for some goddamn reason, the name of the character is Cowboy, even though he's not from Texas, not even American, but that's his moniker. I have no idea where it comes from. I have to figure out why he's called Cowboy.
Could be worse. He could be named Hoss.
Anyway, that was one of those things where I was like, oh, I came up with the name for the character. I couldn't figure out. I just put that down there. I was like, I liked it. And I was like, okay, this is kind of like 100 years from now, 75 years from now. Why the fuck would he call himself
He's a space cowboy?
No, did you ever see that movie, Battle Beyond the Stars?
I did.
God awful, horrible fucking piece of shit.
Yes, it was.
With what's his name from fucking Walton.
I can't even begin to tell you how long ago it was that I saw it, but I have seen it.
Robert Vaughn. God, everybody was in. All the major B movie actors of the time were in that goddamn flick. Everybody. Yeah, it's a horrible Seven Samurai knockoff science fiction thing. Don't fucking waste your time. But
of course, there's always Barbarella.
Well, okay, if we're going to go there, then we have to go for Zardoz, and we're just not going to go down that road, okay?
There's plenty of movies if you really want to torture yourself.
Oh my God, they're so bad. Oh, they're so horrible. I mean, when I'm looking at the movie and I'm 10 years old and going, wow, this is a huge piece of shit. You know you fucked up. And I saw that thing in the theater. I saw Battle Beyond the Stars in the fucking theater. I was like 10. And it was a piece of shit then.
I grew up near a drive-in movie theater, and if I really wanted to, I could go outside and watch the movie without sound.
Wow. So were you doing MST3K before MST3K existed?
In some cases, I actually was. I'm like going, okay, now what is really going on here? What's really happening here? What do I think the story should be here? What do I think the dialogue should be?
I can just imagine you watching a horror flick like Alien, just kind of like moving the pieces in and going, what the fuck is going on in this flick? And then suddenly it all goes horribly wrong.
Think 10 years earlier than Alien.
Okay.
So seeing something Barbarella like on there was not out of the question. In fact, okay. I'm fairly sure that I did see a replay of Barbarella on that.
Did you see Jane Fonda's Naughty Nods? Is that what you're telling me?
I think I might have. I saw the great God Harley Davidson. I'll have to look up and see which movie that was. It wasn't Barbarella, but there was one where they made a religion out of Harley Davidson in the far future.
How did that even get on a drive-in?
I could not begin to tell you.
That sounds like a movie where that's just for everybody to have sex in the drive-in because nobody's actually going to watch this piece of shit. They're just going there to make out. Backseat shenanigans.
This was. I'm not sure that it's going to let me see it as far as what movie it was. I can't remember which movie it was. It was Barbarella is close to it. It was something similar to that in title. I couldn't tell you.
No, was it Wild Hot? No. Come on, that's ridiculous. I got nothing.
Alexina.
Galaxina? Oh, Jesus. Haven't seen it. Have seen it on advertised on Amazon Prime or Hulu or somewhere where they've got that goddamn thing.
I urge you to watch it in the theme of this is that terrible kind of movie that is just so awful. Don't shoot. You might hit the god as they ride the Harley Davidson out of the church and try to flee. Yes, that was a line from the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Galaxina was I don't even know. Now I've got to look and see what its rating was, but it was trash. 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. It's high flying.
3.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
That means it probably deserves a 6. IMDb sucks so hard because they have a built-in loathing for anything horror related. I hate them. They just have a built-in loathing for it. I don't know why. With few exceptions. At least they agree the Thing is a perfect movie.
17% was the critics. The audience score was 24%. I could care less what the critics think, but when the audience says it's 24%, it's bad. It's real bad.
Probably.
It's not probably. It's real bad.
Then again, I've seen some. I have been playing since I had a really bad week. I got the shot. I got the vaccine on Tuesday.
Good for you.
I got shot on Tuesday. It was very, very. It was very well done. I mean, they've got their shit together. Lone Star Vaccine or Lone Star Health has got their shit together.
Is that the place that gives you your normal health care?
No.
So you had to sign up for something somewhere.
Yeah, I had to sign up. My sister, of all people, managed to get in there and sign me up because the website was just hit or miss whether or not you could get an appointment. But she got me in there. And I went to the place like 5 minutes early. They put at the Conroe Fairgrounds, Montgomery County Fairgrounds is where they held this thing. And they've got the huge, I guess it's just the regular exhibit hall that's open where they usually keep animals or whatnot. And they turn it into 6 lanes of traffic, and they have 2 stations per lane. And they have a paramedic for each station. And you drive up, they ask you some questions, they put some stuff on your car, they pop you, and they send you forward, and you go to the end of the line and you wait. And when the time is done on your windshield, they wipe all your stuff down, make sure you're okay, and then slap you in the ass after giving your vaccine card and say, get the fuck out of here. That
works out well. How are they going to get you back in 3 weeks for the second dose?
I have, when that comes up, I will make my appointment, and they will have 2 different groups. They will have the 1A, 1B first shot, and then the 1A, 1B second shot.
Okay.
So that's how they're doing it. But anyway, I had every fucking side effect apart from nausea and vomiting. Every single
diarrhea.
No, I didn't get that.
Man.
I didn't get that either. What I got was my arm puffed up. It hurt to raise my arm, and I just crashed hard, was fatigued, brain dead for like 2 days on top of the COPD shit and everything else. And then yesterday afternoon, after my 40th nap, I woke up and went, wow, I feel human again. So this was like this yesterday afternoon was like the first time I'd felt human since Tuesday or Wednesday morning, actually. Yeah, and my parents got the same shot. My parents and my uncle, no side effects, none.
I personally think that I don't know whether I should try to be, trying to get myself signed up since I have some of the 1B symptom. I'm diabetic. I'm overweight. So I have those two things that put me in the category. But I don't know whether I should wait for my medical group to get me signed up when they're going through their listing, or whether I should try to jump through the hoops to do my own.
It wasn't really much hoop jumping. It was the hoop jumping was actually trying to get somebody to put you in the appointment list to get a goddamn vaccine.
That's what I meant as far as the hoop jumping.
That's the only nasty part of it, is that whole mess. But at least they're finally getting that shit together in Texas. So I'm not out of the woods or protected by any means yet, but I guess 2 or 3 weeks after the second booster shot, I should have at least
after the second booster shot is when you've reached full.
Yeah, full 90 to 95% immunity or something like that.
With 95-ish%, yeah.
It's something up there. So I had that done. I got the jab. It wasn't bad, except for the side effects kicked my ass for 2 days. But like I said, nobody else in my family had any side effects. I'm just lucky that way. But I feel a little bit better about things for that reason. Maybe there's hope we might get through this bullshit.
Eventually.
And I can't remember why I brought up the vaccine to begin with.
I don't either.
Fuck. I wish I wasn't so goddamn old. Regardless, it was they had their shit together, and when they had their shit together, they really had their shit together, which made me think that Montgomery County might get out of the hole.
We were talking about bad movies and Galaxina.
Oh, right. Okay. So while I was,
I don't know how you got to
because I was sick from the vaccine side effects and brain dead. I mean, I tried to code. I write a line of code and go, I don't understand what I just wrote. It was that bad. So I just went hunting for bad horror movies.
Ah, okay.
And I found them, and they weren't that bad.
Yes, but is that a side effect of you being, down with something, or is it really that they weren't that bad?
It's one of these things where I usually go and I look at that bad movie going, okay, what can I learn from this? Is there anything I can glean? Is there an idea they had that they just weren't able to pull off? Was it a great script with shitty cast? Was it a great script with a shitty budget? Or was it just a shitty script?
Or was it just shitty all around?
It was just all around shitty. So I found a couple of movies that I actually liked that were kind of sleepers. And that was kind of cool. But at the same time, I would never have gone down that rabbit hole trying to watch something like Galaxina, which is how bad I thought some of these movies were going to be. And they ended up being like, I don't know, 3 stars.
Taste is what it is. Just because 24% of the people liked it out of 100, doesn't mean that you're not going to fall into the 24%. Just because that's what the consensus is doesn't mean that's what your experience will be. You've went silent.
You fuckers who love Sharknado, I got news for you. I don't get it. I'll never get it. I don't understand you. I don't get it. I just do not understand. I don't like it.
Sharknado. I'm just simply amused that they just, okay, we're going to embrace
the cheese
theme, the cheese, and we're going to roll.
We're going to make this the most ludicrous movie. Mel Brooks, you thought you could make ludicrous? We will go beyond ludicrous.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't understand it either, but obviously it worked for them.
Yeah, it worked for them. We don't know how, we don't know why, but you people are sick. You people that like this, you're sick and wrong.
We're talking about killing off main characters and stuff like that. And yes. One of the things that I didn't go down that road was somebody like David Weber. In his Honor Harrington series, he had in mind a particular point in the story where he was going to kill Honor Harrington off. And he got to the place, and the thing had grown to such a franchise that he got cold feet and didn't.
As opposed to Arthur Conan Doyle, who said, I'm done writing this shit. I'm just going to kill off Sherlock Holmes. And then the Queen says, no, thou shalt bring back Sherlock Holmes from the dead, and thou shalt write more entertaining stories for the Queen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of that. He built it up to the place where it would have made, this was the penultimate moment for Honor Harrington to die to serve the story. And he couldn't do it because, well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I think that, he was afraid he'd be lynched.
Be like if J.K. Rowling had killed Harry Potter at the end of the books, people were just fucking freaked out completely.
You're a wizard, Harry. Oops, you're dead. You're a zombie wizard now.
Wizard, Harry. Yeah, I would not have. That had not have gone well at all. That would have not worked out well.
So there could be a place where, this is a place where I've always intended this character to die. And then you get there and you go, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't kill this character because I'm making money.
I have yet to see that moment.
And I want to live.
I have yet to reach that moment. Thank you very much. All characters are disposable.
That's what David Weber thought right up until the moment he had to kill somebody else. Instead, it's the moment for reach out to the other side of the screen and pull in this other character, this character that I've been
building up over the past 7 books. I'm just saying every character is disposable. It depends on the story.
If you've got the cojones.
And if you've got the cojones. I have the cojones to kill off characters that I like.
Yeah. The problem would be is if that's your moneymaker, are you going to kill off your moneymaker?
I would not kill off Harry Dresden because Harry Dresden is the series. He's the storyteller. You can't really have a book in that series without him.
Well, it's true, but that's a first person sort of thing. With Honor Harrington, it may have that she started off that franchise, but there are plenty of other plots and things going on there. Could Honor Harrington have died? Yes. Would the backlash have been epic? Yes. By the point, the author wasn't big when they started writing it, but over I don't know how many books you got to that point, and I can totally see where he got cold feet because you're making a lot of money off of those books, and do you really want a chance killing off the main character that started it all? I could see where the fear came in, if that's what it really was. I'm making guesses about what it was, but I know for a fact that the author chose to sidestep the original death, and I'm making assumptions as to why.
I have absolutely no problem killing off one of the major protagonists in the Black Extinction. Absolutely no problem with it.
That's because you've killed everybody in the Black. Everyone dies.
No, I have not. Not at all. Yeah, well, okay. The 5th book's body count is going to be kind of up there. I have a lot of motherfuckers to get rid of, but I know 2 characters that are going to die. I'll leave it at that.
All righty then. Well, folks, I think that if you've got...
wait for people to ask questions.
I can't wait for everyone to send you email to talk about this.
Oh, no. And where do they do that? If you want to
go ahead and know who Paul intends to kill off so that he can tell you he's not going to tell you, send a note to show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can find Paul on Twitter because Terry has abandoned the cesspit completely and utterly.
It's actually no longer a cesspit. It's been kind of nice.
Can we be talking about the same Twitter? I don't think so. I don't think so. You can find him at Paul_E_Cooley. You can find me on Facebook because Paul has abandoned the cesspit of Facebook at the listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast. We have to thank the good folks at podhoster.com for hosting the audio for these episodes. And you can find us on Patreon where you can support the show so that Paul can afford a roof over his head and food for his cats. at patreon.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support Paul in his endeavors.
Or whatever.
And if you are a $10 supporter, you get to have your name read on the show.
Which would require Paul to have the Patreon up, which he meant to do.
Which would require Paul to be logged into Patreon and have that page up.
I had it up, and then I closed my browser and stuff and logged out, and now it's obnoxious, annoying. And now I have to pick out bicycles. What the fuck is this bullshit?
I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it when I like.
Yeah, we are so done. That's going to get struck.
You're going to have to cut that out. You're going to have to cut that out because we're going to get ourselves a strike for stealing somebody's lyrics for, what was that, Bicycle Man? I think it was.
I don't know. All I know is that I will get a notice that BMG is now, they haven't filed a complaint, but they're now following you and may claim some of your monetization. Joke's on you. We don't monetize through YouTube. Fuck off. And our $10 patrons are Andrew Smallwood, Chris Moody, that was wrong. Let me try that again.
Follows us on Patreon.
Follows on. And our $10 patrons are Andrew Smallwood, Chris Moody, Chris Winder, Isabel Cushy, Jacob Patrick, Rick Shaw, Summer Wilson, Tony L. Joy, and Veronica Jaguar. Thank you very much, patrons. We really appreciate your support.
We
also,
we hope you enjoyed the live show where we did all of the X-rated things that we won't do on real show.
I did take the time to censor the ever-loving shit out of that, and we'll be posting it eventually very soon, so you can see and get a feel for the kind of madness, the hour and a half I had to cut. Because some asshole just couldn't help but bring the NC-17 deck.
In retrospect, that may have been an error in judgment.
A big error in judgment. All right.
If we do it again, we will not be bringing the NC-17 deck to play. Unless we're just going to have a patrons-only episode.
Yeah, patrons-only show where things get freaky.
After Dead Robots After Dark.
Oh, my. All right, that's it. We're out of here.
And we are gone, folks. We will see you next week.
All right, good enough.
Gosh darn.
Yeah, when I get
shivers at that show. There were lines that shouldn't be crossed, and they boldly stepped across them.
Oh no, and then they dragged us across them. We were saying don't go.
I stepped across it. I could have chosen anything when you chose the Virgin Mary, and yet I went right there because there was no other option. I had 3 choices to make, and I went, oh, if we're going to go there, we're going to go here.
We're going to go there. We're going to go whole hog. Not the half hog, half ass. We're going to go whole hog.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right. We have to do some post-show biz, so I think we need to say goodbye to the patrons.
Thanks for stopping in, patrons. We appreciate you spending a couple of hours listening to us, and we hope we didn't damage your brains, intolerably too much.
Any more than usual. All right, folks. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.